Welcome to GME Admin Insights, the podcast dedicated to the GME community. I'm your host, Natasha Brox, and I'm thrilled to be back here with you today. I talk a lot about professional development, growth, career change, and networking. And I always like to have people on the podcast that bring insight and information to help the GME community. And today we have that person, Kimberly. This is my friend Kimberly. Kim has been in the healthcare arena for over 20 years, with a vast majority spent in GME, where she has worked with hundreds of medical students, residents, fellows, faculty, and medical school leadership and hospital administration. Kim exceeds in project management, process improvement, and recruitment, and obtained a PMP certification to propel her career. Yes, with the PMP. She currently serves as a senior director for Tennessee Center for Health Workforce Development, a nonprofit and grant funded division of the Tennessee Hospital Association, where she focuses on workforce strategies in rural and medical underserved areas of the state. Welcome to GME Admin Insights, Kim. I am glad that you're here today.
Thank you, Natasha. I'm so happy to be here to talk about my GME journey and my PMP journey. Super
Yes.
happy to share what I know.
I cannot wait. Um, Kim and I met through LinkedIn, which is great for networking. I think beginning of last year, and I noticed she went from being a program coordinator to getting her PMP, and we had talked about that, and then a job supporting her PMP. So I reached out to her to inquire about this, since I know a lot of coordinators, they're thinking about getting their PMP or they've gotten their PMP. So she gave me a lot of information and the steps that she took to continue to grow with her PMP. And I just wanted to share it on the podcast today. My listeners will love to hear what she has to say and everything that she has done. So let's jump into the questions. So my first question, Kim, is you've done a lot of amazing things throughout your career. Tell us your journey through your career.
Sure. Thanks, Natasha. I started in GME back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Back then, things were a lot different than they are today. I had to learn from the ground up. I had no background in GME. So that was quite the learning curve, just learning all the acronyms for UME, GME, all of the ins and outs was quite the feat. But I made it through. I met a lot of new medical students, residents, and faculty. I loved getting to meet them. I loved learning about their journeys on how they got into healthcare and their interest. Um, and went from there, just not program management, program coordination,
Mhm.
ran the GME office, and then also ran independent or individual programs and fellowships. About 4 years ago, I started thinking about career development because just got a little monotonous going through the cycle of things every year. And that started my journey to achieving my PMP.
So you're the senior director of Tennessee Center for Health Workforce Development. For my listeners who are not familiar, what is the workforce strategy? Give us a little bit of insight about what you do.
Sure. So, Tennessee Center for Health Workforce Development, like Natasha indicated before, is the nonprofit grant funded division of Tennessee Hospital Association. We all have heard of shortages, healthcare shortages across the country, whether that be physician shortages. A lot of physicians are nearing retirement age, nursing shortages. A lot of nurses are burnt out, they're stressed, they're leaving the field in droves. To allied health shortages, CNAs, there's not enough CNAs, there's not enough radiology techs, so on and so forth. This is occurring across the country, both in urban areas and rural areas. So the Tennessee Center for Health Workforce Development is focusing on building workforce strategies to get folks into the healthcare arena, whether that's providing incentives to primary care residents, in return for a work commitment in a rural or medically underserved urban area to helping psych nurse practitioner students through their programs in return for a work commitment. We're also building pipeline from high school students just to get them interested in healthcare. Because if you think about it, most kids in high school don't ever come in contact with a healthcare facility or arena if they're lucky and healthy. This is building that pipeline and getting them interested in those careers, whether it's radiology tech, EKG tech, phlebotomy, so on and so forth. And also working with those students in HOSA, providing scholarships to get kids into undergraduate programs for nursing and then into nursing programs. So we do a lot of assistance with workforce development and getting folks in the places that are needed in the state of Tennessee.
Wow, you do a lot. But thank you because yeah, we are like very understaffed and
Yes,
in every, like you said, in every arena from even like CNA level to help, to nurses to
right.
phlebotomists to medical students, yeah, the healthcare is really at a shortage. Yes, thank you. Um, but even, especially in the rural areas, especially there. So what has inspired you to keep to make that move to jump into your PMP, and how did it help you with your career moving up?
Sure. I really researched the options for growing my career and career development. I looked into getting an MBA. I looked into going back to school for healthcare administration degrees. My background, I have a degree in biology, and so that just, I didn't know if I wanted to go back to get a master's. And then I looked at project management, and a lot of what coordinators do now is project management. You just
Yes,
don't consider it because we just do our job and we get through it. Things
exactly.
like intern orientation, recruitment season, graduation,
Yes.
developing curriculum, those items all have a start and an end.
Yes.
That is considered a project. So I really took into consideration, I'm already doing these things. Why don't I just go get certified in it?
Mhm.
And I started that journey, and I reached out to some other coordinators that had received their PMP just to get more information to see if for in fact that those items that I was already doing served as projects, and they did. So I just
Mhm.
started on that pathway.
Yes, yes, and I remember we talked about it as well a while ago. Um, so I know a lot of the GME community talk about things that hinder them from growing, like family
Right.
obligations or no support. Did you have any of that going through, thinking about getting your PNP and actually doing your PNP? Did you
Right.
have that? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Absolutely. And I understand there are barriers, to doing anything. We're so busy with work. We're so busy with personal lives, with kids, husbands. It just takes a lot of effort to
Mhm.
really set your goal and go for it. So for me, being an older learner, I don't retain information like I used to.
Okay.
And it was distressing at some time because I was really great when I was in undergraduate school.
Mhm.
So I just got out my highlighters and my note cards and did all the things I used to do when I was in college and just set those short term goals and then just started knocking them
Mhm.
off the list. It just takes that real dedication and mindset to go after what you want.
Yes, I always talk about a professional development plan. Make your plan. It can be as 6 months, a year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year. But when you actually see it, and then like, this is
Mhm.
where I want to be, and this is where I am, and everything in
Right,
between, slowly. It may take a year or two to get where you need to get, but patience is key. And as long as you
right,
start and continue just to do something, it
right.
will make a difference. And when you talk about barriers, barriers are going to be there. You're going to get hindered along the way. You're going to fall, but it's keep getting
Right.
up is the key to any great success. So, for me, I always, when I was in my undergrad, I remember one of my teachers telling me that, we spend a lot of time like doing nothing. And I would always, I'm a morning person. So I get up in the morning and I would just drink my coffee and watch the news. And she was like, use that time for something. It's first like school.
Right.
So I started filling that void with like doing my schoolwork or reading a book or, just something
Mhm.
to help me throughout school. And it
Right.
really helped because my time management on things were
Yes.
smoother. And so I
Yes.
incorporate that now into my life and my work, and my other career. That's what I do. If I see gaps throughout the day or the week, I will fill them doing something that will further my career. So I talk about the time management. I think that's a great thing as well.
Yeah, time management is paramount. It is paramount in going for PMP certification. I would come home at nights, go through a couple chapters or on a webinar series that I had access to, and then do a quiz. And during the day, at night I'd take notes on a sticky, have them in my office during the day, and just review throughout the day. My lunch period, review. Even on the weekends, that
Hmm.
was very paramount that I had a schedule and I stuck to it to
Right.
get through. Um, PMP certification is not rocket science. It's not rocket science at all. Anybody can do it. You just have to be dedicated and devote time and energy into achieving that goal. And that's setting
Mhm.
short term goals. So, reading a chapter a night, that's a short term goal. Check it off. And one by one, you'll start checking off those smaller goals to reach your larger goal. And that is what create so much gratification and pride because you've reached a large keystone goal that seemed insurmountable before.
Hmm. Right. So did you have to change anything big? I know you said you would study at night, you would have your
Mhm.
stickies at work. Did you have to
Right.
change anything like big in your life?
I just,
Or
yeah,
especially your mindset. Did you change your mindset and how did that work?
sure. So I didn't go out with my friends a lot. I didn't do a lot of social
Mhm.
events with my family. And my kids were still in high school at the time. So I had a son that was doing track and there were track meets. Well, I would take my notes in my notebook, note cards and be at the track. But it's just those things that you need to refocus on. It's a
Right.
this is not a lifelong commitment to get PMP certification. It's short term. So you just have to keep that in the back of your head. But yeah, I think time management again is super paramount. And like I said before, I came from a background of science and healthcare,
Mhm.
and PMP is more business oriented, more business lingo. So I had to learn new acronyms and new ways of uh, procedures and policies. So it was quite the learning curve. But if you have a growth mindset, you can achieve anything.
Right, right. Even the taking the steps, just change your mindset to say, let me take these steps to move forward in
Right,
getting the PMP. Because if you are staying in a negative mindset, you're going to talk
right,
yourself out of it. You know, did
right.
you have to talk yourself into it? Like even just to say, okay, let me just do it.
Great question. So there came a point when I was program coordinator, I had to make a decision either to be static in that position and
Mhm.
not move and just keep doing the same thing over and over again, or make a change. And so I decided just to go for it. You just have to make
Yes.
that first step to go for it. And then the rest is history. You just keep moving forward and going for what you really want in life.
Mhm.
That's for me personally and professionally. If you're not happy, don't settle for something. Make a change. Make a change for the better and just go towards that change. Go towards
Mhm.
that light. Meet new people. That to me is key.
Hmm.
And I set my mind on PMP certification. So, and it's just, again, setting those short-term goals to get where you're going.
Yeah, I think setting goals is key too, Kim. I love to set goals because you can actually see it.
Right.
And when I mark it off, I'm like, I feel accomplished. Like,
Yes.
yes. And it fuels me to continue to go. And then when I mark it off, I'll add something, another step to my goal. My family, like, you are crazy. You keep, but it's that drive. It just keeps pushing me. And I love it. And I love, like you said, not being stagnant. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I need something that's going to fuel me. And working on my professional development, I'm like, yes, it's going to take me
Yes.
here when I want to be
Right.
there. So yeah,
Yes.
time management and goal setting is a great thing
Yes.
in your mindset. You have to be in a positive mindset, not anything negative. I love that.
Right.
So I always talk about networking. I always say networking is key. So, um, what do you think about networking? How important do you think networking is to anyone?
So networking is key. It underline. It is key. It's key to get out and meet people. It's great to have meet people and network within your facility, within your program, within your hospital. The 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 real key is getting outside of that
Right.
atmosphere and meeting new people. Networking, go to networking events, go to community events, go, on LinkedIn, you can network. I know it's scary to get out of your comfort zone, but you need to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. Just getting out of your comfort zone and reaching out and networking. LinkedIn is a great resource for networking. Community events, networking events. I know Project Management Institute has usually state chapters that invite people that aren't even PMP certified to come and participate. Um, and as I was started my journey in PMP, I could not figure out the process. It doesn't really state clearly on any website, this is the steps you need to take to get to your certification.
Mhm.
So I reached out to coordinators that had received their PMP. Terry Feist is her name. I reached out to her and asked her what steps she took. And she was so kind in providing a step by step guide that simplified the process. And it even saved me time and it saved me money. But you can spend thousands going towards your PMP certification.
Yes.
And received, I did all of the courses in less than $6. So networking again is key. It's key. You never know who you're going to meet that can be that connector
Right.
to get you to your next open opportunity or your next door, open door. So again, networking is key.
I'm all for networking, but also you can make so many new friends networking, you know?
Yes,
So I love that. I love I'll network anywhere. My PD always like, you a smoozer, you love the network. Yes, I do, because I'm a
yes,
talker too, and I love to talk and I love to when you talk to different people, you you learn so much. And
yes,
that's what I think I like about the networking, because you can learn something new, something different, and that could
right,
spiral into another growth for you. So you just never know.
right, right, absolutely.
Yes, I love it. So I know professional development is a big key for me. And so I would love to get your take on this question. What advice would you give anyone who wants to develop themselves personally and professionally?
Sure, absolutely. Great question. I have a personal motto. I have a motto. It is never settle, work hard, and always give back. That goes for both my professional and personal life.
Mhm.
Um, and as we've been talking about, you never need to settle. Life's too short. We spend most of our time in a position working for somebody else.
Yes.
If you're not happy there, make a change. If you don't want to become a PMP professional, you don't want to do project management, go into HR.
Yes.
Coordinators, we do tons of HR recruiting every year, right?
Yes.
We're great at it. The key is just don't settle. Never settle. If that's taking a new course in
Yes.
developing professionally or taking a nutrition course for something personally.
Hmm.
Also, work hard. Give your all. Don't do things half heartedly because
Yes.
you won't fulfill your goal. And then you'll be left feeling disappointed.
Disappointed, right?
And then finally, always back. Always give. There's always somebody that can use support, whether that's professional guidance,
Yeah.
mentorship, working at a food bank.
Yes.
Always make the time to give back because I believe we make each other better by
Hmm.
giving. And that, to me, the secret to life, to living, is giving. So
Yes.
that's my advice.
Yeah. Especially when somebody gave to you, you know,
Mhm.
turn the hand and give to
Yes.
them. Yes. I'm with you on that 100%. You have to give back. You're only going to get what you give. So, you
Right.
know, and you don't want to do it for selfish gains either, but you want to make sure that you are helping the next, you know,
Right.
mind you, you're pulling them up. Yeah, I love that. Um,
Yes.
love that. So, and finally, just for fun, I like to do this always. If you could only take two things from your office with you on a deserted island, just two
Okay.
things, what would it be and why?
Okay, I'm assuming this deserted island doesn't have electricity.
Of
That
course.
would be nice. I would take pictures of my family, and then
Oh,
I'd take a handful of chocolate from my candy jar because I can't live without chocolate.
you have to take the pictures of the family. You have to take that.
Yes,
Yeah, and I'm with you on the chocolate. The chocolate may sustain you just for a little bit, but at least you got something sweet.
yes,
Um,
absolutely.
that's a great answer, Kim. Oh my God, I had so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me today on GME Admin Insights. And if listeners want to contact you, is LinkedIn the best way for them to reach you?
Yes, LinkedIn is perfect. I'm happy to help in any way. If you have questions about the PMP process or just questions about professional development in general, happy to help. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn. And again, I'll be at the ACGME conference next month. So if you want to chat more, just find my booth,
Yes. And the booth is called.
TCWD.
So we're going to look for Kim in March at ACGME. Oh yeah, I can't wait to,
Yes,
finally see you in person. I know I reached out to you on LinkedIn about the PMP, um,
yes.
and was so overwhelmed. But like you
Yes,
said,
I know,
step
but
by step.
yes, bite-sized pieces, and you get to the goal. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes, yes, yes, yes. And like you said, we do project management anyway in our um, coordinator work. Like it's the same thing.
yes,
We just have to learn the terminology on the PMP side.
right. Absolutely.
All right. So today we've been speaking with Kim. She's a go-getter, making her leaps and bounds along the way. So if you don't know Kim, please look her up on LinkedIn, get to know her, reach out to her. She is a great person to have in your corner. And with that, that concludes another enlightening episode. But remember, your dedication keeps the gears of GME turning and your growth matters. Until next time, community, we are signing off.
I think I found her. She's